Hello, Scrufftards. Welcome to the War Zone. I'm Scruffy, and this is Scruffy Tales. And we're gonna take a look at Russia being on the attack in Kursk. We made a video yesterday how Ukraine was countering Russian positions within Kursk, and Kursk, it's a part of the war, a battlefield that quickly changes back and forth. You don't have the massive minefields and the massive fortifications like you do down in Ukraine. So when things happen in Kursk, it happens fast. And Russia has flipped the situation around on Ukraine and reclaimed territory that they recently lost. And they are also trying to push further into Ukraine out of Kursk, aiming for a vital logistical hub within the Sumy Oblast right outside of Kursk. So we're gonna head on over to the maps and take a look what's going on. So we're starting off with the deep state map, and we saw a push here on the Andrew Perpetua's map, push out here north of Ruskoye Prechnoye. We also have deep state saying we have Ukrainians in that area. This was 1 or 2 days ago. And of course we have Russian pushes down here. So take a look what happens when we move ahead. Boom, major shifts. You can see Russia's pushing back in that area where you had the claimed Ukrainian push, and also a push here at Lebedevka. And we can see that Russia is moving into Ukraine down here as well. Heading over to Andrew's map. Let's see here if we go back. Andrew Perpetua's map of Kursk, where Ukraine pushed in the other day. And we can see what happens if we move forward. Boom, Russian counter forcing Ukraine back, and also Ukraine being forced back here, Lebedevka. And if we head on over to we're down at Pokrovsk here. Here we go. Here we have Mayakovsk 73 and his updates for Kursk. And we can see here as well that we have some Russian gains, and here Russia is moving in towards Lebedevka and they're pushing into Ukraine and what have you here. So clearly the big thing is Russia pushing back up here, and they are moving down through Pogrebki south. So let's see if we can head on over to my map. This is the area here, Roskoye Porechnoye, where Ukraine a day or two ago apparently moved across this ridge into these valleys up here and over here, and now Russia has pushed them back, reclaimed these valleys. Russia is also moving down south here through Orlovka. They are in Novaya Sorichna, pushing towards Staraya Sorichna, because here we have a vital bridge over the river Malaya Lokhnia. And Russia is also pushing down this way. In the latest move by Russia, I haven't updated the outlines where there's actual cover to rely on, but they're coming down on both sides of the Malaya Lokhnia River, and they are pushing up on this high ground here by securing these valleys here north of Ruskoye Porechnoye. And also we have seen Russia advancing along these windbreaks, and they have also pushed into Lebedevka. Remember when we saw that big missile strike with indirect fire aimed at Lebedevka? I said that was a prelude to a big push by Russia, and here we have it. They moved in after they took Sverdlikovo and got across the Lokhnia River. They then followed the cover of the trees here and gained access over here, launched a big missile strike at Lebedevka, and then they have pushed in with infantry. And by the looks of it, if we zoom in on the maps here, it seems as if Russia has secured the bridge here in Lebedevka across the Lokhnia River. So Russia is pushing up here, and we'll see if they can move on towards Bogdanovka, and by moving through the north here. They still need to make it across the Lochnia River somehow, as it comes down here. You have the Struga River and what have you. So we'll see what happens here, but it does appear as if Russia is pushing in this way to try and reach Bogdanovka and securing the bridges here at Lebedevka. And here is the border battle, where Ukraine is currently struggling to hold the line. Russia made a move at Novenke. They haven't been pushing further south by any of the updates, but they are down here. They made a move at Suravka, haven't been able to push out of it. So both of these locations are contested. So Ukraine is still actively fighting back in these two areas. But if you remember, let's go back to Deep State. We have this update of Russian advances south out of Kursk into Ukraine. And if we return to my map, remember a couple of days ago when I made a video, I was talking about Russia pushing down here and that they had an access point here along the windbreaks and tree lines that they could follow basically all the way into Basivka. And this is what we see on the Deep State map, Russia pushing in here and trying to secure this windbreak. Now, as you can see, there's a gap here. But I mean, if they utilize mortars and drones to suppress the Ukrainians here, then they should be able to cross eventually. I'm guessing that they will push down here and then secure this windbreak here before making a move to make it across here, because then they can follow this valley all the way into Basivka. So Russia will come down here, like we said a couple of days ago, try and cross here and then push into the valley in order to reach the town. So yeah, Russia is pushing hard, and the end goal is of course Yunakivka would be my guess. Trying to come into Basivka and then follow the Lochnia River down to Lochnia within Ukraine, because then they are right on top of Yunakivka, and that's the main logistical hub that supports the entire Kursk operation. As you can see, Ukraine can move up here, move in logistics, or follow a dirt road here all the way to Russia, where they can link up with paved roads within Russia itself. So if Russia can make it down to Yunakivka, it's a big blow to the Ukrainian operation here in Kursk, and Russia will more or less effectively cut off all supplies leading in to the campaign here. So yeah, big moves by Russia up here, by the looks of it, as well as putting pressure on the Ukrainians here along the border as Russia is trying to push into Basivka, and later on my guess is that they will head for Yunakivka. Yeah, like I keep saying, Kursk is a different beast altogether compared to other battlefields in this war. When things happen, when things change, it happens fast, it happens out of the blue, and it's a much more modern battlefield where you have mechanized units pushing hard into areas to outflank the enemy, force them to fall back and what have you. It's not this it's a slow grind. It is a slow grind in a way. What is it? Is it 800 square kilometers Russia has liberated in 6 months, and Ukraine is still holding on? So yeah, it's not. This is not blitzkrieg by any stretch of the imagination, but compared to other parts of the front line, things are changing back and forth much more rapidly in Kursk. If you have a breakthrough at some point along the front line, it affects a greater part of the battlefield compared to down in Ukraine, where you have all the minefields and trenches and what have you. So at the moment, Russia has had successes And the other day, Ukraine was having successes with pushing Russia back. So fast, relatively speaking, fast-paced section of the war up in Kursk. But as always, go på marsch, Ukraine, and give them hell.